Hey, I'm Saul Gascon. I'm the executive producer for Lords of the Fallen.
And I'm Cezar Virtosu. I'm the creative director at Hexworks.
All
Of the Fallen.
right. So I know there's a lot of people like me. This is my first time playing. I had never played the previous game that came out, I believe, 9 years ago. So for those who never heard of the game, never played it, can you tell us a little about the game? We'll go from there.
Yeah, of course. So Lords of the Fallen is the dark fantasy action RPG. It's a reboot of the game launched 9 years ago. So we took everything from the first, like from the lore, the characters, the game mechanics. We contrasted that with the feedback from players on Steam, Reddit, reviews from video reviews, written reviews, everything. And then we did like a kill list of all the things that we wanted to improve from to put the game up to date, and that's what we have today, right? So it's a game that allows for fast-paced combat or slow-paced combat. It's up to you how you do your build. It has a revamped visuals, revamped story, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, when you say fast-paced and slow-paced, it's based on the class that you pick too, or
it depends on the gear. So the classes, the 9 classes that you have at start, are a representation of those different playstyles. But while you're playing the game, you can change anytime. You just need, for instance, if you start, let's say, with a knight, right, with a shield and sword, big armor, so a bit slower, right? And then mid-game, you say, like, I want to try faster combat. You can just equip like lighter gear, lighter armor, or like 2 swords, 2 short swords, or 2 knives, and like change completely the playstyle, right? Or jump to a magician or any other. Anything basically.
Well, how's your style? Mine's I picked the knight. I believe that's like the first class, right? What's the name of the class?
Hollow Knight.
Okay, so which one do you guys personally for you guys? Which one is like the class that you like to play?
Well, I play as the Orient Preacher because I like the fantasy of the evangelist that finds itself in use magic, because magic in the game is quite powerful. It allows you to do a lot of interesting things. And of course, you can weave magic and melee seamlessly. You just press a shortcut button. Suddenly, your side buttons that are heavy and light are shortcuts for spells. So you swing your weapon, you fling some spells, and you continue swinging. And it's highly, for me, it's very, very rewarding and fulfilling to play like that.
And how different is the first game in this? Like, I know you mentioned it previously, but is it like the world? Is it bigger? Is it like longer when it comes like the gameplay hours? How different it is compared to the two?
Well, first thing we've done is we changed the texture. We darkened it. We made it more dire, more dark fantasy. A lot more human misery. A lot more seeing how this conflict that has raged for millennia impacted both locals, natives, and layout, and how religion permeates everything. So we brought it down to the ground and much more grimy. Everything is broken and tattered. This is one of the first things that we talked about. How do we modernize this? How do we make it more real, more immersive? Immersion for us has been number 1 and number 2 priorities. So immersive is it's mud on your boots, pain, misery, people howling and screaming. So this is one of the first things we've done, because the first game was quite high fantasy in its approach. It was highly allegorical, and we kept everything that they've done. Absolutely everything we kept. But we gave them more tone, more facets. We expanded it tenfold. And even some stuff that there was barely mentioned in some texts, like the judges that killed a deer. We took those judges, we put them in the game. Like, you will meet those people. They mentioned the Lands of Ebb. Boom, we have Lands of Ebb. So we were very faithful to it. But after we worked on it and we expanded it and we added new paradigms, it became own gravity pull. So
yeah, you know what? That one of the parts I like about the game is discovering when you change that's really cool. You could tell a little bit about that. Is that new too for the game that you guys added?
Yeah, actually,
or was it available on the previous one?
Actually, it wasn't. But as Cezar explained, right? Like, we took the first game, we took like all the, let's say, lore. Some of the characters that are just mentioned in a text file, we made them real, right? And then what we found, though, is that to modernize experience, we needed this, let's say, new paradigm, right? That brings something new to the genre, right? Not just to Lords of the Fallen, but to actually the action RPGs, right?
That's not enough.
So then, from the first game, basically you have the two big factions, the Radiant faction, or the Angels, if you wish, right? Like it's magic coming from Orius. It's like the sun god, and it's the closest that you can get to like Christianism, angelical, etc., right? And the big rivals were Adir and his demons, right? So once we had this paradigm, we wanted to add this third faction, the Umbral faction, which is led also by its own, let's say, cosmic horror goddess. And then we started like, okay, how we can make this spread and infect the whole world, right? So it's always been there. So it's still respectful of the first game where this is not even mentioned, right? So basically that's why it's this secret god you can only see through the lamp, right? So basically when people dies in this universe, they don't go to hell or heaven. There is this cosmic horror creature that, give me your soul. I want it, right?
Don't spoil it.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil
No
that.
spoilers.
So basically that's kind of the paradigm, right? So then basically we wanted to make this lamp that allow you to look to the other side, and then from there we started building all the mechanics like of transferring between realms, taking souls out of people, and a lot of other mechanics related to that.
Yeah, and we played with it, and we felt like we were opening Pandora's box. Like, wait, but there are natives here, but there are the rules of reality. There's illusions, there's sickness. So all these designs that you experience, they're all emergent from the high concept of a dark, shadowy web that catches the souls of people before they die.
And how's that going to work when you have two players? Is it only one player that will control that of switching dimensions?
Yeah.
Like how's that?
So it's usually so it's the host. So
the host. Okay.
exactly. So like if I will join you, for instance,
Yeah.
you control whether we are in Axiom or in Umbral, right? I can still use my lamp and all its powers and look around and etc., but you are the one that controls the world state, right? Where are we? So for instance, if we will die, we will both go to Umbral.
Okay. All right. And I know we talked briefly about the multiplayer co-op. So why you guys decided to add that in the game, co-op?
To be very honest and frank with you, is first because we are nerds and we wanted it, like ourselves, like we wanted that. But so that was a reason. But the main one was that actually we saw that there was a lot of demand for it from the community. So we're like, okay, so let's give the players what they are looking for, right? They want co-op, let's give them co-op. And then what we did though is like, okay, how we can add co-op in a meaningful way, right? So it's not just like co-op checkbox. It's like, no, it's a worth experience, right? So that's why it's seamless. So for instance, if you are playing and you invite me, I can join you and we can stay together as much as you want as the host, right? And so at any point you could just kick me, like say, okay, I had enough, just leave, I want to do things alone. Or we play together the whole game, right? So that we gave a lot of power in that regard to players to decide how they wanna play multiplayer.
And you could also revive each other if
Yes.
one player's down. Okay, cool. And is that crossplay or that's just strictly just per platform?
It's crossplay.
Crossplay. Oh, that's even better too.
Yeah.
I like crossplay.
But invasions are also crossplay, so you need to be cautious.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Yeah, I had a great time. I like where I'm discovering new locations. I'm discovering, I believe like there's doors. I can't open it, but I have to switch with the lamp in order for me to, like, I love that this one has a lot of puzzles in there too, man. A lot of challenging. Now the difficulties, does it get a lot of harder when they have two players and solo? And
Yes.
yeah?
We scale the challenge for two people. Not a lot, because the game is absolutely brutal. The introductive part that you play, it's our onboarding area, because we want to teach you the basics before we let you on into the world. But the game is absolutely unforgiving, and sharing this burden into people, even if we scale the game, it is much more enjoyable suffering together than suffering alone.
Was there any games that, it's been 9 years, was there any games that you guys were like, man, this could work for us? Was that you guys inspired by playing it for like the past 9 years or something like that? Or
Yeah, I think that actually like almost every game that launched, you can learn something from it.
Sure.
But if we will talk of bigger inspirations, I don't know, man. There's so many.
And you don't have to say it's okay.
Yeah, no,
It's okay.
in terms of co-op, for instance,
Sure.
there is other games that actually have done a great job on it. So we took inspirations from there. Then in terms of how to handle PvP, we also took inspiration from other games. So basically, it's a mixed bag of like what works best out there, and then trying to convert it into our own paradigm, right? Because no game is the same. So we try to convert the best lessons to Lord of the Fallen.
Now, there's also gamers that they just want to play. They don't like the difficulty. They just want to lay back and play with their friends. Is there also where you could change the difficulty to, or this is just how it is and that's it?
No, we want to make sure that if I come and say, hey, I completed Lord of the Fallen, we look at each other and we fist bump, because we know that that dude, we went through the same struggle, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want to like, oh, but did you complete it in easy mode? No, that's not that removes the pride of being able to beat this type of game, right? Now, you can leverage the difficulty, of course, by playing co-op. So that's something that, like, even if we scale up the challenge when there are two players, you still let's say deviate the aggro of a boss, for instance, between the two guys, right? You can also ask for NPC helpers. So if you actually go through the game wall and help some NPCs, they will come and help you in boss fights. And also you have the RPG, which is like, that's your way to actually downgrade the difficulty, is grind a bit, right? So it's like, okay, this is too tough, so I'm gonna play a bit this level, just like 3-4 times, get up 2-3 levels, 4 levels maybe, and then try again, upgrading yourself or your weapons, right? And that will completely change the paradigm of the RPG. Because for us, the RPG was very important, the RPG aspect. So it's your level, your weapons level or gear, and also the every boss has weaknesses to specific school of magics or poison or whatever. So if you use all the RPG mechanics, you can leverage and get the difficulty down, right?
I noticed on the top right, there's this number. I think every time I killed an enemy, I noticed the number was raising up. Is that a way also the game will get even more difficult because I've been alive for so long, or what? Like, what is that from the top right corner of the...
Oh, so we have two things up there, top right. So it's the vigor, which is
in the vigor multiplier.
Yeah, the multiplier.
So the vigor is what you take from fleshies, as we call them in production, which means real people. You absorb their vigor because you're an umbral revenant. You've been just resurrected. You have your lamp and everything. Underneath there is a number that goes up. The more time you spend in umbral, which means the more time you look around in umbral and you experience the umbral things, that number increases, which means you're going to get more vigor from everyone you kill. But this also increases what we call that affliction called dread, umbral dread, which means in stages, it's all systemic. It's available throughout the game. You'll have umbral apex predator honing into you. So you need to kind of balance it out. When you exit umbral,
and it's important
it resets.
To remark that act multiplier actually is something we took from the first game, right? So in the first game, when you died, you had this multiplier as well, but as we integrated in the whole umbral loop, right? So it's something we took directly from the first, but we integrated it with our own with our own paradigms, let's say.
Yeah, and how's it been for you guys? Work on this project for a long time, and now soon it's coming out later this year. So how's it been like for you guys finally showing this to the world?
Umbralized.
Yeah.
A mix of dread, fascination, and joy, utter happiness. We have toiled on this in the dark, so to speak, remotely. We have few chances to meet actually with our team and discuss, because we're all scattered around the world. We pulled upon all the experts based on their Steam achievements on the action RPGs. I'm joking, but we are looking with great trepidation, because we are attempting something very ambitious, and it's our first game, and we need to land absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It's important to remark, like, we are very excited, obviously. It's been a hard work, a lot of brain power used into this, right? Like from everybody in our team. But also this is something that reassures us. We've done on every milestone, right? On every month, we've been checking with play testing, with externals, right? To always get feedback, right? Like, okay, what is good, what's better, etc. And that has modulated a lot the game that we're making, because at the end, even if we are huge fans of the genre, you always need like a reality check, right? Somebody outside like, that's too hard, or that's not clear, right? So we are always iterating. And we cannot wait just to get people to play our game as you guys did today. Hear what you have to think, like we can do post interview, of course, right?
Yeah.
And then will help us improve it even further.
No, well, congrats. I can't wait to play the full version. I love that it's very fast paced because I play other action RPGs. It's a little bit slow, but this one is like, depending on my class, I could actually,
right. So about that, it is a bit of a it's not just one thing make locomotion fast. It's just reducing coming out of the recovery is just a smidge faster. Faster healing animations. Chain it. So all these things, the way you chain attacks and the way the items switch, and all of this kind of adds to a more responsible, like the character is more easily to control. But at the same time, we wanted to find a balance where you're not, a crazy character that responds like super fast, like Super Meat Boy. So we wanted a bit of groundedness to feel like you're, a proper heavy character. But we have cut a lot of corners when it comes to recovery animations and speed and fast and turns, because we wanted to have a very responsive character.
And when's the official launch date for this?
The Friday of 13th October.
Right, that's a pretty good date.
We had to.
Friday the 13th.
We had to.
It's not a coincidence, no. We chose Friday the 13th. Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and it's all for PC and consoles, right?
Yeah, it's a simultaneous launch on PC, on Steam and Epic stores, and then Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5.
Is it going to be compatible with Steam Deck? Because I travel a lot, so
yes,
I could take this with
me. I brought it with me.
Oh, really?
Steam Deck, and it works like a charm.
Thumbs up on that one. All right, but thanks a lot, man, for the interview, and I can't wait for to play the full version of the game later this year.
It was our pleasure. Our pleasure. I mean, whenever we get a chance to talk about the game, we'll take it.
Awesome.
100%.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, man.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.